This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy! Hey, let's talk about you, the ID10T community events at ID10T.com, like Russ Stevens, a.k.a. Cool Movies Darth, who has started a podcast called 90 for Chill, which Russ says is dedicated to movies with a runtime between 74 and 99 minutes, the time frame that I feel is ideal. Russ, I could not agree with you more. That is a fantastic idea. Russ goes on to say there are times you need a cinematic fix but don't have time for the latest Scorsese masterpiece or offering from a comic book universe. There's also times when you need a conclusion to prevent a binge costing you a whole night. My guests and I try to follow these guidelines as we chat up features that are definitely worth your time and are beyond easy to make time for. 90 for Chill, the podcast, can be found on all major podcast platforms at 90forchill.com, and that's spelling out 90, N-I-N-E-T-Y, 4 F-O-R, chill. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing, Russ. Really great idea for a podcast. Events at ID10T.com for everyone else.
This universe is only one of an infinite number. Mr. Strange. Who are you?
In this vast multiverse. Stephen Strange, your reckoning is long overdue. Only in theaters May 6th. Tickets on sale now.
As I said last week, I would MCU next Tuesday, and this Tuesday is now. And I just concluded watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And, I was pleasantly surprised. I had a lot of fun with it. Now, yes, of course, you could get into the fact that it really... maybe the gender issue of denying a woman what she wants in this universe, in all universes, I suppose. But, you get beyond that and all that pain that an honest trailer for WandaVision will expose to you. And, it's a decent, fun little flick. It's under 2 hours if you cut out all of the credits. And honestly, best post-credits scene in Marvel since the Sharma in Avengers. So, it's Bruce Campbell gets his cameo. It's Sam Raimi. So you get Evil Dead imagery in a Marvel movie. And I think that's worth the price of admission. So I don't know if he can do it again in the sequel. And I'm pretty sure he probably won't try it. I don't know. I haven't read the... the dirt rags, the papers, what have you. But yeah, I thought it was as I expected. I don't think I need to actually go and see Spider-Man No Way Home, so kind of feel good about that. I mean, I don't know. I could probably look up the post-credit from that feature and go from there. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. And now this is a movie though that, as I say, it clocks in under 2 hours if you get rid of all that post-credit stuff. But, oh shoot, had a thought. Oh well, with all this multiverse stuff, and I had the same problem with Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, is, you have the temptation when you're at home to just pause, like, is that the Black Bolt from Inhumans? Was this just a shot at destroying... cathartic. I guess this is just a lot of cathartic stuff for people who are complaining probably about the Eternals and Shang-Chi. So again, I just had fun with it. I think you could have probably cut 20 minutes out. So the script could have been a little tighter, but the humor is solid. The only problem, I guess, is the Wanda. And that's only just because of her conclusion to everything. Like, if you're going to go full psycho, go full psycho. Don't be apologetic. Don't be the end of American Psycho. I just have now been watching a YouTube channel about videos breaking down how evil somebody is. I think it's I can't remember the channel. Maybe I can figure it out. Just bear with me as I get on the old PC. Yeah, well, obviously I'm on the old PC, but, well, the good one, I suppose. Okay, what was it? Let's just go Hans Landa, YouTube, Evil Analysis. What channel is that on? Don't need that. Oh, okay. So the channel is the Vile Eye. So go there, and you can check out some just great breakdowns. They're kind of eerie videos in the sense that I think this guy uses an automated voice to create them, or girl. But, let's just say it's a guy, because, throwing it on a woman's kind of cruel, I guess, in the sense that, oh, well, obviously, she's hysterical, the old adage. So, yeah, it's just, I think it did a good job of introducing America Chavez, so nice little youth appeal. So good setup for that character. Doctor Strange is a lot of fun. I think his story works out. The biggest problem is if you watched the first season of Marvel What If, you kind of think that this is the blown out version. And actually, as I'm watching this, it's kind of like with all the stop pauses, all that for me, trying to, did I just catch that, see that, what have you. I think this could have worked better as a television series. And I think that is perchance how comic book adaptations should go. I mean, if we're spending cinematic dollars on Game of Thrones, why not do 10 episodes? I guess, we're cinema's dying. We're going to be needing the subscribers, so an excuse to add another $5 to Disney Plus. I don't think Disney would object to that. So, yeah, it's like, that's just it. As I say, the script could have been tighter, but what could you really cut out is the problem, because it's multiverse, so they have to be able to jump around, and you need that. But as a television series, you could do a separate universe each week. So I just think it's a fun Sam Raimi movie with, as I say, some Evil Dead vibes to it. This is what I probably would have appreciated more from Spider-Man. I guess I deserve those films. Well, the sequels deserve a first-time watch for me, but the original needs a rewatch. But, I can stop and think, like, oh, it hits the notes. So, yeah. So if you want the best Sam Raimi comic book movie, go and watch Darkman. I mean, it's got all his directorial bits, his catches that you can see throughout, and it's a little bit darker. But hey, you do get some Evil Dead type stuff in this feature, even with Bruce Campbell. So I think it's a winner. Maybe not 4 stars, but definitely worth your time.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Welcome back to 90 for Chill, the podcast with CatBusRuss. This is your host, CatBusRuss. You can get an idea of what might be coming up on the podcast by following me on Letterboxd. The username there is CMDarth. That's C as in cool, M as in movies, Darth as in the Sith Lord. And if you'd like your Amazon devices or your Google Nest devices to play the podcast, just ask for it to play 90 for Chill, the podcast with CatBusRuss, and I think that will get you there. Or it'll get you to the old feed. If you're still listening to 90forchillthepodcast.com, please just go and move on to the one with the crazier cat as its logo, 90 for Chill, the podcast with CatBusRuss. So enough of the formalities. I know we've probably gone through, 8 minutes or so of preamble. But so let's get to this one. This movie we're going to review with Tim Bates, who was last on the show to discuss Night of the Demons. We went back to Tubi and found the movie that actually drew him to my 90 for Chill concept back when I was writing blogs. That's still happening, Main Event of the Dead primarily, or 90forchill.blogspot.com if you want to read the original review. The movie is Arena from 1989, and I guess, it's kind of nice to see the good side of Charles Band's money, as last week I had to deal with Killjoy. So this is a movie about, basically it's Rocky in space. That sums it up. With decaying Star Wars-like costumes. We discussed. It's basically a movie that probably would have made the big screen if it was back in the early 80s pre-Ghostbuster, but, once you can figure out how to avoid sending your characters to space, Hollywood decided to wait till George Lucas came back, I suppose. So that's the movie. It's basically a feature of everything us kids in the early 90s, late 80s just found fascinating. And probably screwed up with our concept of beauty and women. We do talk about that, how, gosh, the hairspray of the time. So we'll get on to that. Next week's episode, or episodes, I'll probably be dropping daily episodes about the Fan Expo in Chicago, Rosemont more particular, a 4-day event, and, big mission this year is to get my David from the Lost Boys Funko Pop signed by the Keith Sutherland. So, and, Mira Sorvino is going to be there, and I am going to watch the train wreck that, I'm hoping it's a train wreck, the Christmas Vacation reunion with Chevy Chase and Randy Quaid. So that's what to look forward to next week. And, I'm looking to probably I would like to get a guest on, for at least the August 22nd or 29th episode. I've got some leads on those, but if you want to be that guest, send me a pitch. Send an email to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. Or follow me on Twitter at CatBusRuss, or even better, Mastodon Social at Russ Stevens at mastodon.social, and just offer me a movie, a theme, a director, an actor. Try to come up with something that fits between 70 and 100 minutes, but I can make anything work if you're willing to do a little extra legwork. So that's how we got Tombstone with Andrew Teedy, and hey, if you're listening, Andrew, I'm ready for whatever you got next. So sorry to call you out there. So I guess the only other formality, just in case I forget to mention it in the podcast itself, is to rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. Apple is what I use if I will reciprocate reviews, and I've done it on Spotify as well. My username on Apple is The Scoop Staley. Again, so much wrestling influence on this pod. You're going to have to listen to a lot of episodes, or someday... basically listen to it and tell me the stories I've already told, I suppose. There's an intrigue for the back catalog. So thanks again for coming to the 90 for Chill podcast, and enjoy the show.
On the edge of our galaxy, there is a battleground where alien warriors compete for the ultimate prize. I am champion!
Will a human do battle in the arena? Now where is the challenger?
Where humans have lost.
You ever thought about the arena, Steve?
It ain't gonna work. This guy's a human.
What it takes to win.
You're talking about arena fighting. It's not for me.
Listen to them, Steve. They're calling for you.
You got speed, you got muscle. You could go right to the top. You're going to work for me. Nobody tells me what to do.
Someone tried to poison him.
Sorry, kid, but I'm afraid your fighting days are over. He's not gonna get away with this. The fight is between me and Rogor. You can win this fight.
He won't beat.
Now we kill him.
Arena.
Boomer series sounds sad that we're using this for a podcast and not capitalistic productivity. And that's how that's how I like it, at least. This is 90 for Chill, the podcast with CatBusRuss, and returning to the show, internet connection unstable. So returning to the show is Tim Bates of the Evil Penguin Games.
What's up, guys?
Yep. And this is one of those so we're getting to the movie that I think really inspired Tim to consider being on the show. We are going back to 1989 with Good Charles Band. I got to see too much bad stuff recently, so Killjoy the Clown, don't suggest. And
I think I've heard that name before. I don't know anything about it.
Well, I think they've made 5 of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Charles Band, known for Empire Pictures, making, probably one of the first made for video guys out there.
Okay.
So the next step in exploitation cinema. So yes, Charles Band is the executive producer of this one, and it is called Arena, which is, I would say, pretty much now that I rewatched it, sets the standards for all video game fighting games.
I don't disagree with that statement. If nothing else, from the opening scene.
Yeah. Well, I don't get. Well, there is a question, like, what are the rules? Because they just beat the crap out of Spinner, and I thought he was down 2-0 to begin with.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about this movie, the whole thing, the whole thing. The movie is Arena, sci-fi alien fighting championship, organized fighting rings in the future. But I mean, like you said, there is absolutely nothing that they say that the only rule in there is the limiter.
The handicapped.
The handicap.
Yeah.
But like, one of the aliens has claws. This guy is a cyborg. Like, what does that actually do? Like,
well, it's somehow it's supposed to, I guess. And it gets all screwy by the end of the flick. But it's supposed to just maybe it's like, dare I say, Dragon Ball Z, where you're fighting with weights.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of things. Elements of Dragon Ball Z I like, but then it's like, then it's Dragon Ball. Then it's like, and let's start the fights, and at least these end in 3 rounds at the most, instead of.
I guess that's a really good analogy. I hadn't thought about it like that. That's better than like how I was perceiving it.
Right. So so it's the story of a space station which has a arena where they search for the best fighter of all species, and through their handicapper system, they can make sure that all beings are equal. Hence, it's a battle of the arts, essentially. And it opens with a fight with the champion Horn versus Spinner, which looks like a Walt Disney was optimistic. The Walt Disney Company was optimistic that the black hole would be a hit, so they may have had a prototype Bob or Victor robot already designed to walk around the park.
But there are a few of the parts on here that look like they were salvaged from other jobs or other sets. And
oh no, I would love to do the research, because it goes back to Roger Corman, early 80s especially. Like James Cameron was the production designer, set designer of Galaxy of Terror, which is a fun one. But then you could see his effects being used on Forbidden World, the same backgrounds and everything. Like, oh, we're gonna tear this stuff down. Screw that. Yeah, so it was a very common thing with Corman movies, and when you think of Corman, also like that they use special effects from the same movie in 3 of them, like Battle of the Star, Battle Among the Stars, or Battle Beyond the Stars, and you get to see, at least I know in Forbidden World, they recycle the fight sequence, the Star Wars knockoff sequences, space battles, and I think they do that in Galaxy of Terror too. So yes, there's definitely like, I'm presuming it was shot in Italy. I didn't research it. I'm just presuming, because I know with Charles Band, who had released probably his biggest hit was Reanimator, I would venture to say.
Okay.
Like he did all these movies in either Germany or Italy, tax breaks, what have you. It goes to other movies like, and I think De Laurentiis, Dino De Laurentiis, who has some big credits to his name, but like he did the King Kong remake 76, I think, and he's the guy who kept Flash Gordon out of the hands of George Lucas, hence giving us Star Wars, incidentally.
Okay.
And famously, like if you're an Evil Dead or just an Ash Williams fan, depending on what path you take, he had the rights to Army of Darkness, hence why they don't really bring it up in Ash versus Evil Dead. Okay. And I really think I think with Ash versus the Evil Dead, the TV series, they had to really only limit to the continuity of the first Evil Dead.
Okay.
All the issues with that,
right? Which
is weird because you can get them in iTunes is just like, technically, since you don't own anything, you're just paying very high rental fees. Like, oh, sorry, we lost it. It's what they could say. They can throw bundles together without the studios really caring. So now keeping the match competitive with the fighters evenly classed. So yeah, I guess it's like, I had a friend, real douchebag really, but he was my wrestling teammate, and like after high school, I'm doing this. My little brother's watching UFC, learning the submission holds and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I go and roll with him. And yeah, I'm trying to get submission moves. I'm not trying to beat his brains in. And Lord knows I didn't get as many as he does. He picked up what he saw. But it's not going to be a challenge for me if I just go and pick him up, throw him, and then like I said, oh no, my brother could tap you out, nothing, and then he just goes and beats on him. It's like, yeah, you don't get the you don't get the science. So, but yeah, and this is actually, I would say, one of the last movie. Well, I mean, before Hong Kong action really kind of had an influence on it. Because you look at your Schwarzeneggers, your McClane, your Willis's, your Stallones. Stallone can't throw a kick to save his life.
Right.
This is the last time where you could just slowly punch people. I mean, Van Damme was kind of changing the game, and I guess you could say Seagal and Chuck. That's what made Chuck Norris cool, was he could actually kick somebody's ass.
Yeah. No, that's actually a valid point. I hadn't actually thought about that. This is a pretty tipping point time, yeah.
Right. So, yeah. I just love the blatant steroid use in this fight with Horn. Yeah. You already and yeah, it's I mean, it just gets like, I mean, and some of the costumes just can't work, like Spinners and Sloth later on. So
My favorite parts is when they call Weasel in to give him the like the pump up steroids
yeah.
at the beginning fight scene.
Mm.
He's supposed to be playing a prank on the floor, dropping a firecracker into like a
Yeah.
waiter's box, but
Yeah.
the box explodes before his firecracker drops into it.
Oh, yes.
If you pay attention.
Yes, no, this is definitely we got one take.
And it was close, but
But
not
yeah,
quite.
right. And I guess besides for those little continuity mistakes, I mean, really the only stuff that I don't really bug me is the green screen can be a little awkward.
I will say though, on that subject of Weasel though, shout out to Weasel though, Armin Shimmerman, one of my
Yes.
personal favorites.
Quark, yep.
They got a
Yeah.
couple Star Trek heavy hitters in here.
Yes.
Rogor is and Armin Shimmerman, Weasel and Rogor both.
Yeah.
What is
I can't remember what Rogor, his name.
Mark Alamo.
Yeah, Mark Alamo.
Yeah.
I remember him best as Lopez from Tango and Cash.
Okay.
Yeah, Jack Palance is the big boss and the secret boss. And the two faces were Mark Alamo and dang it, why am I drawing James Hong?
Gotcha.
James Hong, probably best going to be remembered as David Lopan from Big Trouble.
Yeah.
Or Cassandra's dad in Wayne's World 2. I mean,
yeah, I believe it was the first. He was one of the first, one of the first main antagonists in the first couple seasons of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I know that the actress who plays Quinn, the protagonist fight trainer, is had a pretty good run on Battlestar. No, what was Babylon. Babylon 5. So, let me get that up there real fast. Arena. Keep saying stuff so I don't have to edit anything. It's funny that they choose the poster for Arena. It's it's not Horn, it's Sloth.
Yeah, it's not even the. Although I will say that it was a more entertaining fight.
Oh yeah, especially when Steve Armstrong has to get himself in a chokehold.
Right. Worst like actual fighting instinct in the world.
Yes, like I'm gonna grab your arm and
this is what the human race has to offer.
Yeah,
it's no wonder that we've been made fun of
for 50 years. Yeah, well, 50 years in this time. I mean, yeah. So the Babylon actress, that was Claudia Christian. I think I accidentally gave like my first Comic-Con I ever went to was called Visions in Chicago, 98. So I was still in high school, I was senior high school. And it was and like I didn't know Tracy Scodges, which I really only knew from Highlander the series, was going to be there. So I'm trying to find, all right, I want to get an autograph. Well, I don't really know what pictures, because I mean, she was on Dynasty and I know she was on Babylon 5. So I found a Babylon table, grabbed a picture. I think I gave a Claudia Christian picture to her to autograph. So yeah, I got it. So yeah, no, it was an awkward autograph session that time, because I got an autograph from my sister from Nicholas Brendon from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he turns out to be a total twat. So
see, I don't meet your heroes.
No. Well,
I'm not calling anybody a hero here. I'm just saying.
I haven't had any bad autograph experiences otherwise, I'd say. I mean, I was just completely starstruck by Bret Hart. Skipped my 10-year high school graduation to go to that event. And Other big autographs I've gotten, I got Michael Rooker, and he's just the coolest guy. I got an autographed Yondu pop from him. Real cool guy is Robert Patrick. I missed his like, why the hell was this guy not on a main stage at Wizard World? It was like, this is the T1000. This is, you know, the White Dragon in Peacemaker. Like, and yeah, I just couldn't find anything with his face on it. So like I grabbed a Terminator 11x17. Sorry, and I just said sorry, I couldn't find anything else. And he said, "Don't worry, man. Don't worry, kid. It's his movie." It's like, oh, you are like,
it's his movie.
From Dusk Till Dawn 2. I mean, you made the Marine watchable. Like, you're good in everything. Like, oh, and yeah, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, cool guys too. Thanks. So that's really like my autograph experience. I was like last minute at I think it was C2E2 2019 after they had a Clueless panel. Though it was like I wanted to grab some Funko Pops of Superman and just a Stormtrooper because they had Donald Faison and Breckenmeyer.
Okay. And
that's who they do on Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Breckenmeyer is Superman, Superman. And Donald Faison is Gary the Stormtrooper.
Okay. Excellent.
Yes. So I didn't get that. I chose to buy a $75 grab bag custom lightsaber. And I'm not regretting that one. So to the plot of the story. We have Quinn is a fight promoter just doing her best to take on the crooked Rogor. And that's something, now that I think about it, though, some of the makeup is excellent in this movie. And then it's like, let's just we just need to make this person look kind of alien.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to put in the full latex bit or latex paint thing like Star Wars. And
what's really funny is when they do like a decent job of like the face paint, but then you see like the costume bottom half.
Oh yeah, no, it's like
like you see like whenever like there's one section where it shows Steve being like picked up and carried around the ring, and he's very obviously being suspended with
yes, that's
the harness.
Right. Actually, I caught that like it's in the final fight.
Yeah, it's in the final fight.
So
with
that's
Horn.
that's why his gear looks so awful. Like his fight attire is so weird. They just needed to have spots to.
Yep.
One, like, I guess they wanted to make it seem less gay than professional wrestling. We better cover the nips.
You better cover those nips with these gold suspenders.
I mean, it's the late 90s. We don't want to. We're not just gonna throw people out there in trunks.
We're gonna put a cod piece on it,
which I think is all that Horn has, really.
Yeah.
I guess that's we got the name. Yeah, and I mean, then of course you can't tell half the time if the silver streaks in Rogor's hair are intentional or just they did not take I mean, maybe they were shooting real fast. How much time do we have to put him in? Well, we need 2 hours. you got 10 minutes.
I can do this.
So yes, the story is about Steve Armstrong. Essentially, he's stuck on a space station. Tried to make his just make a living out in deep space, and just taking any job he could. Can't cut it as a short order cook. Gets in him and his boss, Shorty. Real creative name on that one. I do wonder, would it be cool to have an extra set of hands?
Like, this is In this sense, yes.
Mm.
But like to never be able to forget, no. I want to be able to forget some things.
Oh, that element, yes, of a nebula. Yeah. So after Shorty nearly gets beat up by a fish fighter, Vang, I think it is.
Yeah.
Because
this is where, first off,
yeah, I better get my shot of Malort in just keep going. All right. And now on to the remnants of my nerds infused vodka.
With that, before the fight, we start out with like, because Steve like messes up the fight, but Shorty, this is where I watched this over again, and like, I gotta say, I don't disagree with Vang. If like some dude got in my kids' faces, the kids are being little Karens right now, and they're like being dicks, but I gotta say, if somebody got in both of my kids' faces, I probably would walk up too. But like, Steve absolutely aggressed and raised the stakes of everything there to 11.
Yeah. So Steve goes and beats the shit out of Vang. And Vang is a fighter representing Quinn, and that after Spinner is pretty much retired. She's depending on him, and that's not going to happen now. But I don't know, the drugs they introduced later in the movie, maybe. Yeah. So both Shorty and Steve. Steve was played by Paul Satterfield, which is basically, I looked at his IMDb, and he is the Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, watching TV.
Okay.
Pointing himself out in his television guest spot.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So he plays Steve. Fit enough guy. I mean, like this, he maybe he should have been He-Man. You'd get more than 3 takes to try. If you're familiar with that story about Dolph Lundgren, his English was so bad at the time. Like they only took 3 takes, and then it's like on to the next one.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. Well, and then one day Sylvester Stallone was on set, visited the set. Went to the director, Albert Pion. No, I don't think it was Albert Pion. Maybe no. Albert Pion directed Cyborg, which was supposed to be a sequel originally to Masters of the Universe.
Okay.
That's a famous story about reusing stuff. Basically, Canon was going bankrupt. They couldn't get they had the rights to Spider-Man. They had Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe bombed, so they weren't going to make anything with that. So basically, like, they grabbed anything from the Masters set and what they were developing for Spider-Man.
And just ran.
For Cyborg too. For Cyborg, yeah. Yeah, so Steve is approached by Quinn to replace Vang because he can fight and he's human, so that's just an automatic draw. But he refuses to do that because the sport's impure, despite he spent all this time being a great fighter.
That and they jumped him.
Well, yeah.
The job offer started with them like attacking him with a pipe.
Yeah, but a 10-day contract, like, okay. I mean, I would have jumped a 10-day contract regardless. Like, with an option of expanding, like, yeah, no, I'm cool. But I think that's like I documented, like, okay, and that's my dad was really resistant when my best friend at the time suddenly said, who was in Thailand, like, suddenly invited me over there. Like, I don't know this attorney she was living with, and you have a tendency. I just think you have a tendency to actually get into that, to end up like in Bloodsport or Kickboxer. if a fight was offered, you take it. And years later, I found out this just not maybe just a couple years later. It was basically that they were so angry at each other. It was basically I was getting shipped over they wanted to ship me over just to keep her out of his hair. So,
I mean, hey, you almost got to Kumite because they couldn't handle it,
right? So, but I'm not gonna. So let's see, and so it's cool, Shorty is going to find a way to get for his protection in that fight that cost them both their jobs at the snack bar, I think is the official snack station. He's gonna get him to Earth, so they eventually end up at a underground gambling facility
where Shorty is terrible at gambling.
Well, he's terrible at that game, but then he's later on he's kicking Weasel's butt as they wait for.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Plot devices and whatnot, but
right.
It's really funny because they're making it seem like he's cocky and he thinks he's really good here, but obviously I think they also do that to make it look like they were cheating or crooked in the casino.
Right. Well, after a raid by the cops, Shorty ends up finding a way to steal 18,000 Kruger, which is enough to get Steve a ticket home and 5,000 extra to send to his 27 kids. So I don't want to
back to Nebulon.
Yeah, I don't want to understand their lifespans. I don't want to understand the birthing process. Yeah.
So 4 hands. What does that equate to?
Why would you? Well, I mean,
I'm more thinking more of like a salmon situation here.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking 4 hands. Why would you ever need to consider penetration?
Maybe just wrap around the waist like a belt. Who knows how alien we're talking here?
Right. Okay. Yeah. This is a PG-13 rated movie, so let's. So yeah. So of course, Rogor and Weasel find out he stole the money, and it's basically if they don't get the $18,000 Kruger back in 12 hours, they're dead meat. And an hour later, Steve has signed up with Quinn. So, and throughout this, it's like, I don't want to fight. It's like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think celebrity gets the better of him. And yeah, and then we're into our Rocky standpoint, I guess, essentially. You get the fight with Sloth, you get a montage, and then you get the main event with Horn.
Yeah, I mean, because it shows Steve has 2 real fights. He has the first one where it just shows him it's his first fight, the main picture on the poster and everything, where it's a dude with claws and giant legs, which is the most entertaining. And I think that was, they had the coolest puppeteers and the best choreography from him on that one.
Well, aside from throwing yourself into a chokehold. I mean,
I'm talking about when he moved around or jumped. Other than that, okay, the chokehold aside, I'm talking everything else other than that finishing, him doing that. The rest of it was pretty well done. A scene, I enjoyed that.
Oh no, and there's as long as you keep the camera above the waist of people, it's not poorly shot. So I mean, the thing with so this was one of the last Empire Pictures releases. They went bankrupt, and so that's just, I don't know. I don't know. Gotta hate. Well, I mean, being a guy who has had a bankruptcy, I guess I shouldn't be judging, but I didn't get to immediately start a new movie company after I went bankrupt.
Right.
So So yeah, that's why I didn't start supplying heroin to another kit person, facilitating their addiction. Like so, um, so that's I don't know. Four hands, you would think you'd be playing cards better, anyhow.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm like watching this. Some scenes, I gotta say, some of it feels like it goes into that. It feels like it was shot like a TV,
Oh
like
well.
but like some of its cinematography feels like it's done with a much better like feel for how things should be, and then there are other scenes where it feels completely like they had no idea. Like there are scenes where it just feels unbalanced with the cinematography in this movie.
Well, it's definitely shot in a 3x4. Regardless, so that was Empire. That was Empire Picture. Was Charles Band's model to start. Was I'm going to release one theatrically and one straight to home video, and we'll make our money that way. And he kind of perfected the form. I mean, he was able to perfect it when he got the new full moon features or full moon productions. We're talking Puppet Masters,
right?
Evil Bong and the Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah.
I still got to see Ginger Dead Man. Gary Busey, I don't know if he does the voice, but he is the guy who gets turned into the Ginger Dead Man.
Oh my god, I think it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
Well, I will say Evil Bong was good. So especially once you bring Tommy Chong into it.
Yeah.
So but I think about it, like thinking about the gambling scene, it's like every movie just has to figure a way to have an alien bar in it.
Yeah.
I can't think of a bad movie with an alien bar or an unwatchable movie with an alien bar.
And then they always have to be some weird game, or they'll come up with some sort of weird gambling thing that doesn't look like it actually makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
like in this one, he rolled a ball and then they kept the camera up so we couldn't actually see anything.
See the game, yeah.
But it made a bunch of weird noises and we saw it rolling around doing things.
So we didn't have
being
the time.
Sci-fi.
So yeah, we didn't have the time to create the game. So I guess we should mention Jade, played by Miss April. Well, no, she wasn't. She was a cover girl. April 1998 Playboy, 1988 Playboy, 1980 Playboy. So
oh boy, if you are a fan of full music numbers in a movie, let me tell you,
they're silly enough. It works.
Yeah, the was it the Heart of the Barbarian? That was the
yeah. I mean, it's just a whole lot of silly, and like you just get. Fortunately, I mean, yeah, seeing Victor the robot with legs get the crap kicked out of him in the opening movie, you can't take this movie. You're not going to be too judgmental of it.
No, absolutely not.
Or you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like if you advertise the stupidity right up front, it's like watching a Jackass movie. It's not great. Well, Spike Jonze is a great director, and I mean his shopping cart sequence, excellent. But the point of the matter is, after that, they know it's
so like as soon as after the gambling scene, when he's trying to get the money back, he goes and wakes up Quinn, right? She is in an obviously her quote unquote nightgown, but it looks like it's pleather, like a pleather dress, and then throws on the jacket over it. This looks so hilarious because it just looks like you're just putting on like a leather coat, which is supposed to be her supposed to be sleepwear.
Yeah,
but it's sci-fi.
Yeah.
Just make it shiny and pleather. It's sci-fi.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't until The Matrix that we really understood how to how to use that. Like, you wait for it. Well, and even in the Matrix, though, it's a tribute to the '90s industrial scene. It's not it's not sci-fi. I mean, sci-fi for them, everybody's stuck in crappy clothes, whatever they could compose,
How can
I mean,
we make?
I always joke. I know we're not in a simulation because there's fat people.
Yeah, that's yeah, fair joke.
I mean, residual. Well, the concept of residual self-image. I'm definitely going to be at my best 165 pounds and cut.
Yeah,
I'm not. No, not my 205. So.
I am the beautiful chiseled physique that I have always been. Thank you.
Well, and it's weird when they bring up the Matrix Resurrections, which I enjoyed. Like they brought up the fact that your residual self-image, you're only going to see you at your best. But they eventually show here's whatever. So that's their way of saying, hey, it could be a simulation. Because then they show like Keanu gets to look into a mirror and sees like, I'm what a 65-year-old Keanu would look like if he wasn't Keanu. Like, an old guy. Our rest in peace, Paul Rubens. Now that I'm thinking about old people and such,
Right.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this movie spent its entire budget on the Sloth animatronics.
Yes. Well, then you had his then you had the sparring partner was pretty
that was good rubber work, but
right.
like
the animatronic element, yes.
Because they're spritzing him down, he had so many different moving appendages and joints there. They were trying to make it look all real. Like that looked like it took the whole budget. Like the main bad guy looks like a rubber mask. This one looks amazing.
No, the horn is basically a werewolf costume with some Party City Terminator stuff plugged on him. But more better than anything from the original Mortal Kombat duology.
Yeah.
Where I'm talking
the second one is
second one is it's like, and I'm a big Paul W.S. Anderson fan. The effects do not hold. Like that's the problem with computer effects right now is they are when they don't hold up, they don't hold up. Like Mortal Kombat and VHS looks great. Mortal Kombat on a 4K television, you can just see the layers.
See, I will say that's why the first one still works for me because they don't do as much in the first one. The second one was awful.
Well, the second one, they were in such a time crunch. The moment a test screening said, "Oh yeah, this is all right. Screw it, we're not going to finish the effects."
Yeah. The second one was riddled with so many problems.
Yeah,
like there were so many.
All right. Yeah, she's got. Yeah, no woman wears a one sleeve nightgown to begin with. Yeah, no, that's a freaking gown. And the matching pleather jacket. So I mean, she basically she's judgmental of Steve drinking and such. You don't end up in bed like that.
Fully makeup and hair done.
If you
in leather.
If you're not shit face. So all right. So already brought up the rules. So I mean, I bring up the video game element. I guess Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter came out the same year or maybe 2 years prior. I think Street Fighter was 1987. Fighting Street for the TurboGrafx 16 was the port of it. Like there's still video game systems. I was at this episode will be a MCU next Tuesday. I've already said it's going to be next Tuesday when this episode drops. And I announced on the episode I just finished the editing of. It's going to be Marvel See You Next Tuesday, and I could not find like it's the one movie that Disney Plus is not going to have. Since I'm not really interested in going into the Eternals until not the Eternals, Shang-Chi or any of the new Phase 4 stuff until I find a reason to. So, I went through Black Widow, which was all right. Definitely should have been released before the Infinity War. And then there was the so I'm up to No Way Home, which is like I don't want to watch because I don't want to see them Sony basically take their property back. Because I think that's how the movie ends, from what I've gathered. Spider-Man's not an Avenger or never was an Avenger.
Yeah, it's how can we make this story work so we can retcon this and
I mean
don't have to play with you guys anymore.
So needless to say, I wasn't going to subscribe to Stars at this point. I might, but I'll probably just hit the red box. I know you still got DVDs of it. But I did swing by Disc Replay and like, oh shoot, come on, somebody had to return, sold a lot of copies. And then there was so I went, but then I'm looking through the S's on Blu-ray and I see Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth.
Oh yes,
$13 used. Yeah, no, I'm
done.
I'm done. Yeah,
done.
So I'm getting it. So I bought it, and so that will have to be addressed at some point. I mean, it's just Lance Hendrickson is at his craziest, I think, in that movie.
That's beautiful blonde feathered mullet.
Oh, which is weird. This one didn't have a mullet.
Yeah, I thought didn't this one?
No, he's got it. He's got it pretty much right, just around the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's pretty clean cut. He may have had a mullet before he started fighting, so I guess professionalism. Or maybe the trainer has one. So it's,
okay, yeah, well,
yeah.
Okay, all right. It's the bleach job. It threw me off.
Yeah. No, it has to be in that. You got to pull off the mullet and be blonde. It has to be all natural.
Yeah.
So, yep, Brian Bosworth. No, it's actually, I think there has been a Blu-ray release of this, so you're not getting very high def when you're watching it on Tubi or Pluto, where I originally saw it. But okay, get back to my notes. So yeah, green screen effects are a little out of place, and I don't think anybody's really. Yeah, otherwise I'm just trying to keep pace with it, and it's like, okay, that's a good effect with the Sloth fight. Okay, yes, you lay the arms on his throat like a straight choke, and that works. And then you can see continuity issues with green screen and such when he's climbed on Sloth's back.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't you see a crowd behind him? Like, and but yeah, this is basically 2 out of 3 sumo rules, essentially. Like, there is the knockout, which which we just presume exists in the last fight. But no, he's basically his first fall over Sloth. He just pushes him out of the ring.
It just kind of seems like just crazy street fight that you can get thrown out of a circle because there's no limitations.
Yeah. It's
Just
a weird,
no lasers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Kumite had it figured out. So I guess that's what they're kind of failing. Like when they say break his knee, Sloth, it's like, I don't know. Can you really how would breaking an exoskeleton work? Yeah. So I don't know. Now we're just calling for the R-rated cut. But it's alien legs. Like, who cares?
Oh, that would actually be wicked cool. Like if they could have done a little bit more with this, that could have been cool.
Right. Well, no, it's like this is obviously in a time where, I mean, somebody could totally do this today with all CG and it would look like shit.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that. Like I would rather this remain. I would hate to see something like this as a reboot and all be CG, you know?
Right. I mean, if you're going to do it practical, it could work. Basically, this is just Hollywood saying, like, yeah, we don't have the technology. So, yeah, we're like, yeah, we could use, if you're talking like Audrey 2 effects, this movie would be way too, too expensive to make. So Hollywood's not going to make it. So this is, I keep mocking Jurassic Park for ruining cinema. Because the CG was so good in that we were so concerned with seeing if we could do it. We didn't stop and ask if we should. So,
it's because I mean, in the same token with that movie, it's because it's a steady mix of practical and CG.
Right.
They know where to push it and when not to, but they also painstakingly did a really good job on the CG on that movie.
And then it's like, oh, we could do it on computers. It's like, did you not see? All right, did you see what the budget was for Jurassic Park? But we could do it on computers. So yeah, that's so basically they could have done this with practical effects and, like, I don't know, get a good actor, get a good script. I mean it's one of those, like, if we're gonna spend $150 million on a movie nowadays, which is ridiculous.
Agreed.
And I don't know where it all goes, especially with a Cameron movie. Like, okay, you created a video game world, a very realistic video game world. So twice so this movie should cost you twice as much as a Xbox 360. Avatar should cost you twice as much as a Xbox 360 classic. It shouldn't cost you $150 million.
Yeah.
And then $150 million to market. And I say $150 million for Avatar, I think it clocked in at 300. Because Cameron has to prove that he can make the expenses worthwhile. And damn him, I mean, with the exception of The Abyss, he's always managed to prove himself right.
Yeah.
But then everybody sees, oh, he did it. Like, there's a reason why, like, he says, like, Cameron has said, okay, yeah, I think I can make it to Avatar 4, but 5 and 6 is going to be another 10 years between, because I have to train a director to direct like me.
Jesus.
Well, that's what he thinks he is, but
yeah.
But it's just like, at least he knows that, and it goes back to Jurassic Park 3, like Spielberg, like, yeah, I'll put my name on it. Mm-hmm. I get to pick the director. It's not going to be near my level, but if, this, you want budget Spielberg? I'm going to give you the best budget Spielberg.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
will say I've so like there has been some podcasts or people that I've been listening to that have talked about with the mega budgets bombing so badly lately that hopefully or hoping this kind of turns out with an era of, like, for lack of better term, micro budgets or just smaller budgets, or trying to focus more on trying to reinvent or just come up with
a new way
instead of just throwing money at it, coming up with better scripts or just trying to redo something,
right.
you know?
Well, no, if we had better stories to begin with, you wouldn't need all this money.
Exactly. And that's what
it's just being so dependent on established IP. My older sister, the poetic critic, frequent guest, she is very much in the camp of film Twitter that's like celebrates every failure from the Marvel or DC. It's like, you shouldn't, you really shouldn't be cheering for people to be unemployed, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it. Like, okay, you write a better movie, you sell it to the studio, you convince them. Don't blame the filmmakers. And in the end, I don't think people, like, we're coming out of a pandemic still. Like, people have to get used to going to the movie theaters again. And we haven't had that Who Framed Roger Rabbit yet.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go out and see this. Disney did their best to sell us on Spider-Man No Way Home as that movie, but
yeah,
I didn't really care for Far From Home. Like, I may have only seen one Jake Gyllenhaal performance I gave a shit about, and that was Okja, where he's just a drunk, crazy, faux nature expert TV host.
See, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's a decent actor.
I didn't like Donnie Darko, and
I mean, Donnie Darko, I watched it years ago. It was okay. I don't think that it is it's more pretentious fodder than it is the pedestal or it or pillar that it's
I think it was like, this is millennials' first sci-fi movie, essentially. I think is what the attitude to it was. Like, this is ours. And it's like, one, it's a Gen X project. Now I think about it, like, Florence Pugh is not Florence Pugh. I'm sorry, Greta Gerwig is pretty much, and I think Ryan Johnson, who's still a couple years older than me, they're the best voices right now of a generation. I don't know. Christopher Nolan's. I watched Dunkirk just yesterday, so it's like that was like, no, that's where I think he's kind of pretentious, saying you have to see my movies on the big screen.
Yeah,
you don't have to see Memento on a big screen. I don't think you have to see The Dark Knight. I was talking to our coworker at Midwest Jedi 31 on Twitter, Alex. He was asking had I seen Oppenheimer, and I said, well, but I did just watch Dunkirk. And like, Nolan can't write worth his to save his life. But Dunkirk is like a movie that's an experience where, like, it's more experience than it is narrative. Which, yes, see that on the big screen if you get a chance.
Okay.
But and I imagine Oppenheimer probably has similar things like that. But again, it's like, if you're trying to create an experience instead of a narrative, I think you're in the wrong field.
Yeah.
You could be, get a sub, go down and do it right like James Cameron does. And then, no, somebody's going to go and do budget James Cameron.
Yeah.
And
there'll always be budget James Cameron out there.
Oh no, not in the sea now after Titan, but Like, I can't feel sorry for anybody squashed in that event. Like the 17-year-old kid who got to go on the trip because he was going to set the record for the lowest depth at solving a Rubik's cube. Yeah, no, that's natural selection there. I mean, hey,
No comment.
Well, like, I'm just saying, if you're gonna break a record down there, don't do it for the nerds, man. Like the Mile Low Club, that's what you should be thinking.
The
about.
Mile Low Club. Well, oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's about the size of an airplane bathroom too. Like,
yeah,
the pictures of that place is tiny.
Yeah. So obviously, we're like, you get the fight. So we get the fight with Sloth, and then we basically are setting up for his potential fall. You get the montage of fights he has, and then we get Jade.
Pretty sure there's a dude with actual like knight armor in there.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean,
might be an alien, but he's got some armor.
Yeah. So another thing about Charles Band. So one of my favorite horror directors is Stuart Gordon, Reanimator, obviously, From Beyond. He's probably done the best with Lovecraftian ideas. Dagon. And somehow he wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the meantime throughout this. So one of his movies is Castle Freak, which is definitely worth looking for. It's probably on Tubi or Pluto TV. 1995. Again, it was since it was Charles Band, it was shot in 3x5 straight to video. Got a theatrical, but you know. Once I went to B-Fest, I learned to just accept 3x4. Like, oh yes, I'm going up to B-Fest because they're going to Showdown in Little Tokyo on a big screen. We're just showing the DVD. We didn't get a reel. We didn't get the reels. But Castle Freak. So Stuart Gordon's taking a meeting with Stuart Gordon directed Robot Jocks, another classic. That's on Tubi right now because that was like the movie that was going to be autoplayed. Which took one showing. It's like, I can see why Dad didn't want to go and take his kids out to see it. And then the second show, I guess after really appreciating low budget cinema, it's like, oh, this is gold. But Stuart Gordon so I don't know where Charles Band gets his money, had his money. It's got to be generational wealth. Again, to go bankrupt and just start a new company.
Yeah, I mean,
but I guess he had a castle in Italy, what have you, and it's like, Gordon was having a meeting with Band about doing a movie, and he sees a poster, and it's, what's that? Well, it's a castle and it's a freak. Can you make a movie out of that? Yeah. And there you go, Castle Freak. I mean, it brings back the Reanimator duo of Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. So, 10 years later, but Barbara Crampton really still looks nice. Have you ever seen You're Next?
No.
Oh, definitely worth a watch. Like,
okay.
Home invasion movie, but then we find out that one of the people in the home. Okay, I'm watching the montage now. So it looks like he has the helmet of it. No, yeah, it looks like they just threw some gray rubber suit inside a suit of armor. So yeah, then he's got another list. Oh, it's like you see these monsters in the montage, and it's like, and you start him with Sloth, like,
Yeah,
uh,
they couldn't have like built up some of these like low levels as the
yeah,
montage, and then like the yeah.
yeah, it's like this could have been Bloodsport. That's just it. And I know Bloodsport's only a year old at this point, so really thinking that far ahead when you're writing the movie. Let's get the
Yeah.
big fight out of, and then it's like instead of Bloodsport where the Frank Dukes knocks out the first guy and he broke the world record. And
See
then
this brick? No scratch on it.
not Dim Mock. Neither is that. Like I'm surprised he didn't get more work. Like you couldn't throw him as like a on some commando team. I mean, I might have to look up his IMDb.
I was like, I thought he did do a lot of.
He was Ogre.
Well,
From
yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah. I'll have to. James Gibbs, I think it was. Donald Gibb. Yeah, that's what he could again. Really, this movie would have been if they really would have taken the time to. I mean, this movie was released so quickly. Surely you could have watched Bloodsport and given him a fighting buddy instead of a four-armed cook.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like some sort of mentor or something like
a Pat Morita type, like
yeah.
So U.S. Marshals, Revenge of the Nerds, convict. He's only cast as a convict in Hancock. Well, I mean, times they be a changing. Revenge of the Nerds, 6.6 stars on IMDb. Bloodsport, 6.8. Like, I had a conversation my last trivia night afterwards, and it's like, Donald Gibb hasn't really done anything since 2011. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah, that was, but, had a conversation about Revenge of the Nerds and like, that does not age well. Like, we all agree Pretty in Pink didn't age well. Revenge of the Nerds, I stood up for it because it's a revenge movie. It's right in the freaking title. So you're in favor of secret rape. It's a revenge movie. Like, and we got into a conversation that like, Kill Bill, that was a revenge movie. I don't know, was it? Like to be, the entire thing about Vernetta Green saying, look, if we go and get this fight done, we'll be even, Steven. Oh, even, Steven? No, for that to happen, I have to kill your daughter and wait for your husband to get home and kill him. Then it would be even, Steven. I'm like, it's like real vengeance against Oshi Ren would have been to give her like force a hysterectomy on her and put her in a coma. Like, leave her to buck. That's revenge.
It's true.
Yeah. The point is, like, you gotta honor, like, there's honor and then there's revenge.
Yeah. It's a valid point.
Yes. Honor should be the way to go. But I'm just going to say it was oh shoot, I can't remember who. I have not seen any of The Last House on the Left, but I did see The Virgin Spring. Bergman's, the movie that Bergman did. Like, no, you kill every last person. So yeah, all right. So yeah, so we're at the train. So I'm through the sparring session with a really awesome rubber work. It's kind of like You couldn't have thrown that in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, why was the sparring partner the better suit?
Yes. I mean, it's like, oh man, I mean,
I don't understand
it's
the
what those
lobster
people.
claws
It's
with the giant lizard, but I mean,
yeah.
hey, who am I?
Hey, I know I know you could trade anybody who runs around making YouTube videos in a Tyrannosaurus inflatable would trade that inflatable and all the easy memes for that suit.
Fair.
Yeah. So I don't like. I don't get. It's really weird they went with Quinn has no interest in Steve.
I'm okay with that. Like
I mean, it's professional. I get it, but I mean, in that case, it's like, do you really want him doing stupid stuff with Jade?
yeah, they went with enough like generic tropes here that why didn't they go with that?
Right. Or at least, I mean, let him shag Jade and there's a forgiveness
Yeah.
element. I mean,
'Cause, I
okay,
mean-
we're adding 10 minutes onto the movie. We ain't got
Okay,
time. We ain't got
okay.
time for that, I suppose. But well, no, are we really adding 10 minutes to the movie? Like, I don't know. But I did write down the note. One, if he's a disciplined fighter, he wouldn't have gone with Jade because of the Rocky rule.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a school of thought, like
You don't get yourself involved with anything before a fight.
well, not the night before, no.
No. Well, I mean,
the night before, no, he's stupid. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Like
no, okay. Now
the night before a fight, he deserved it.
But
he didn't deserve to be poisoned and die. That's not
yes.
true. He didn't deserve that.
Right.
But like he is an idiot for like drinking the night before his championship match.
Okay, nah,
come on
now. As a wrestler, it's not like I didn't. Well, in professional wrestling, it's not a bad idea to drink before the next night. The night before, just because maybe I'm gonna bleed, and if I'm gonna bleed, I want it to be all over the page.
So you're trying to thin it out?
Yes. Oh no, I took aspirin. I've gone and bled intentionally once, and yeah, I'm doing aspirin. I drank heavily the night before. My trick was I cut myself before the match. I was okay, so I was wearing a pink headband as just something obnoxious. And so I went and cut myself, got a good, okay, yep, that's deep. Put a piece of toilet paper on it, and then it's like, if you want to get somebody to bleed more, you just punch the wound. So, okay, I'll get into, we'll get in there. He rips the headband off. He starts punching the wound. Boom, I'm squirting. Scared the hell out of people because the piece of toilet paper would not come off.
Oh.
So he had to go and start ripping at my head.
Oh man!
So and he didn't hurt me at all. It's just basically he's just trying to peel that piece of paper off.
That's pretty funny.
But then I get up and like he was like he went in there and ripped his head open. Yes, that's the reaction you want.
That's pretty good. That's people are gonna remember that. You put on a show.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was one of my best matches too. So it's like, damn it. But the only other time I bled, I like took a back elbow just above my eye. You can kind of see the scar. If you look close, you can see the scar on that. And it was just totally like didn't hurt me at all. Just totally incidental, just bone on bone. And no, I wrestled the next day with no bandage on it.
There you go.
It's just so I guess drinking I'm all for before a fight, but the entire like there's a point like I don't know. Am I above falling for this ploy? Absolutely not.
I'm not going to disagree with you either, saying that I'm not saying.
This is 80s hair
Hey,
and hot. I mean, that's
hey,
yeah.
those musical numbers, okay? She is a muse, and she will siren sing me to to the rocks on the
Yes.
bay.
Oh yes. Yeah. So, but I mean, it took a while to get over 80s hot. I think for kids who grew up in this
Mhm.
time, like
Oh, yeah. The 80s hot is not hot now.
no. I've seen some of the hairdos and and then it's like, no, geez, that is awful. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna pass it up.
Like, man,
So
that is unfortunate, but I mean, yeah,
yeah,
I'd like to be a part of things.
yeah. Is the makeup heavy enough too? Like, if you got the whole package, like,
Can we butter our toast with it?
yeah, damn near kabuki levels of foundation, and so much Aquanet, it's a fire hazard. I'm surprised people got out of the 80s. I mean, because we're doing a lot of stupid stuff on Coke and
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we came out with side effects, is all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we have to thank the AIDS epidemic for scaring us into doing further stupid stuff.
We were going down it was
Yeah.
just a fiery spiral.
Yes. No. That's like celebrate our tragedies. We survived it. So yeah, that turns me from a Gen Xer into a boomer or definitely a Republican. As I say, I don't practice evil, but I'm a fan of the art.
Don't nice.
Like, oh no, that's a total bastard thing to do. No, I would not do that to somebody. But if you're gonna do it to somebody, you do it like that. So I don't know, like the Jade thing, especially when she's like, I don't know that they didn't really flesh that character out full enough because then she's immediately has, oh, I feel guilty about drugging this guy with something I knew that was going to kill him.
Yeah, and it's
like
when
no, you
she's
got to be cold to do what you did, like
and the
ice
fact
cold.
of that she tries to go to him later, like,
Yeah,
what
like
about
no,
any of this is romantic or
yeah, never mind. Rogor still has all the money, unless he was making some stupid bets on the fight.
yeah.
But that's not established. There's the holes in the plot. No, I'm better than you now, Rogor. Are you?
I mean, yeah, he doesn't have his fighter with the belt, but I mean,
Yeah,
like that
and
can
like,
change.
right? No sequels. I mean, again, this is promoting. Like, I could come up with like, you lost Weasel and Skull, and I didn't take any notes on Skull.
Skull is the only character that I genuinely feel bad for in this movie
Yeah,
because, as they said in there, like in the beginning, he was like, he's a good kid. He's just
yeah,
trying, to make some money.
yeah.
And so then he's a kid that got caught up in a bad scam and then he gets blown
Blown
up.
up. Yeah,
Like, he's the only character because he's just some like hood rat
yeah,
that's trying to make a couple bucks with a scam, and then he gets electrocuted for it because bigger evil powers or bigger powers that
you're right.
be like fry him.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's kind of a douchebag in the process, but like
yeah. And
he's
he's
like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old douchebag.
yeah. No, it's Ice Cube and boys. I mean, yeah, he'll shoot you, but he still cares about his brother in Cuba.
Where'd your mother?
That was a running gag on I Love the 90s. Was like, Like they just kept playing the soundbite. We got a problem. So yeah, that is something I'm curious about though. Who did the waist high pants without a top better? Steve Armstrong or Kylo Ren? I mean, because Kylo got all the love for Adam Driver got all the love for.
I'm gonna blow your mind.
Oh,
I've not seen any of the new Star Wars trilogy.
Okay.
So I can't reference this Kylo costume for you.
Well, you could look up the memes because there's a lot of hot chicks who are hot over that.
I'm well aware of who of it. I know what I don't know off the top of my head what you're talking about.
Well, there's no real contextual reason why are you wearing high-waisted leather pants, man? I mean, I'm not saying it's something I wouldn't wear. Yeah.
I typed in Kylo Ren and high-waisted pants is one of the first things that pops up.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. I see what you're talking now.
Yeah. No, when it comes to the I guess this is like goes back. I did an episode about space operas with my older sister, the poetic critic, and it goes back to like there's a movie 83, 84 called Ice Pirates. Early Ron Perlman.
Okay.
But I mean it's stupid. It's really stupid, but it's kind of like, yeah, but it's still got that Star Wars vibe. And it was late. It's probably the better of the Star Wars. Like we're gonna try recreating Star Wars attempts up until 84 when we had Ghostbusters, and it's like, oh, we can just make funny special effects movies and not worry about going to space and creating new worlds. Like, that costs money, and no, nothing makes Star Wars money aside from Star Wars. When it comes to the sequel trilogy, it's like they were on a good path, and then the internet, the idiots took over. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I've read enough about them. I know the general plot line to them. I've read and whatnot, so I'm like, I know enough.
Yeah, no, Force Awakens is good, despite it being a retread. Last Jedi tried to do, like, it's from the guy who gave us Looper and Brick and the Knives Out movies.
Okay.
Are you expecting, he's going to do Empire or Attack of the Clones? No, this is a guy who's written smart things.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, we don't want smart. We want good guys. Good guys beating the bad guys. So, yeah. And like, I don't know. I cry. I did shed a tear at certain points in Rise of Skywalker for the fan service, but I felt guilty. It's like it was pity sex. Rise of Skywalker. I'm not saying it was bad, but I know we shouldn't have been doing it. So, all right. So we got like the drugs they have in the future. Like, oh, if he would have been 15 minutes later, a couple hours later, he would have been dead.
But he can still be in this fight.
Yeah, no, this will bring him back around in 15 minutes. Well, can he fight?
Yeah,
he can. He can.
Like, I'm not gonna. You'll have to sign something.
Yeah, I'm not going to endorse it, but he can do it.
It's crazy to think that was drugs for 15 minutes.
Yeah. And then that's where we get back to the handicapper problems, is like, so the first round is clean.
And Steve dominates.
Yeah. The second round, handicapper, but it looks like, and Steve even says, I don't have any strength. That's not how the trick in the handicapper should have worked. You got a mecha werewolf against you.
Yeah.
He should just be naturally stronger anyhow.
Right.
You can still kick him in the nards per per monster squad. Wolfman has nards.
Yeah, like even if he was like, if Steve was at a disadvantage for like his speed or whatnot, just like you said, he was a mecha werewolf.
Yeah,
like,
you don't need him to be. Oh, I can't. Adrian cut me. I mean, Mickey cut me. No, like
half of your body's literally made out of metal. Hit him with any part of that.
Yeah, like so it's just that kind of stuff gets thrown off, and then I do kind of appreciate the red and blue lights though they have to try to track the fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I think that was good. Yeah,
yeah, but it's like this isn't WrestleMania at a football stadium where like I don't ever want to go to a WrestleMania because at a football stadium because I want to see the action.
Right.
Like at least in a football game, you got 11 you got 22 guys. You can kind of see the horde move accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, did you need the tracking stuff on them, or is it solely to show that the handicappers are working? I mean,
see, and like I don't know, like this movie. If you were like watching this and you saw like the handicapper blinking in and out, don't you think somebody would like notice something other than the coach or the ringman?
Well, it was Shorty, I think it was.
Yeah, Shorty.
And we keep mentioning Shorty. I know he's no longer with us, but I guess we should probably pull up his name. We mentioned everybody else. Well, I don't know if I mentioned Sherry Shattuck by name, but wow. So let's see. Hamilton Camp. So it's almost redundant that he's in a movie with that like this with that name. Good old Hammy Camp. It
really did just perfectly place those straps over his nipples.
Yeah. I don't know. And as a professional wrestler, it's kind of like, well, that's a difficult outfit. Like, if you ever watch a Kurt Angle match, it's like when he's totally pumped up,
mm-hmm.
He pulls down the straps, like, all right, now I'm serious. Or cereal, if we want to play it like that.
No, I'm cereal.
Which I think is a podcast thing to do now. Is everybody calls it cereal. So yeah, he did a lot of voice acting, TV spots. Again, it's like, basically these are the guys. Basically, if you want more movies like Arena, which I think we all want, you got to support the actors and the Writers Guild.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what AI is going to do. Like, yeah, you can replace the writers, but I think the actors are going to have too much taste to do that shit. I mean, I have not read What If Wes Anderson, the AI experiment, What If Wes Anderson wrote The Godfather?
I haven't read that either.
Yeah, it's 10, but that's the kind of stuff like, all right, yeah, AI is great for abominations.
That sounds okay.
But genuine creativity, it's incapable of doing that at this point. Once it does get that, it's like
we're going to die.
Yes. So let's not entertain it, Hollywood.
Yeah, that's no.
But I did have a conversation with the guy who calls himself the Mikey Jordan of trivia, Paul. I can't remember his last name, and he's moved away. He was basically saying like, I figured it out how to kill AI just because it's impersonating things right now. And like I've always been like, if we want to stop AI, give control to the cats. We can
Give
be the
control to the cats.
Look, the only reason they don't rule the world is they don't have thumbs. We have those. Robots will replace us. Cats need us.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yes. But my friend was basically, Paul was basically saying that, so no, you're on to something, Russ, because AI is currently doing nothing but impersonating us. So its next move is going to impersonate our obsession with cats. So the cats are going to rule.
It's actually interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just a little bullshit right there. So man, like that is something about 80s sci-fi. We didn't have the concept of Wi-Fi.
Right.
Like,
and that's what I think makes a lot of the cheesier stuff works, is because like cell phones, Wi-Fi, that stuff didn't exist, so it made these cheesy things like work possible, you know?
Well, for the time, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, Skull should have been just a little hacking. You could have a counter hacking scene. I mean, we're still going to blow up Skull's head.
Oh yeah,
but
somehow,
yes. But it's like,
we're going to use an RC plane, and it's going to go in.
Well, I was just thinking, like, cast. Like, I'm picturing Alan Cummings from GoldenEye as Skull. Okay. He played Boris.
Yeah.
I am invincible. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then you have somebody else playing the opposing hacker. So I guess we're coming up with the remake.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
I could see it being a video game. Just go right to the video game. Like, if this was a few years later, it could have just been like, yeah, this sounds fun, but couldn't we just make a Mortal Kombat knockoff with this idea?
I mean, I feel like there was an N64 game that like was making me think something like the BioFreaks. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Like you had guns and stuff, and you could shoot.
Yeah,
I
thought it was more of an arena game instead of. Well,
yeah.
I guess that's appropriate since we're watching a movie called Arena, but not a one-on-one fighter.
I was just thinking for, not necessarily. It doesn't fit exactly, but
yeah. But I mean, we had so many bad Mortal Kombat knockoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, Street Fighter knockoffs. They were so close to trying to beat. That was basically Fatal Fury, King
everything
of Fighters,
SNK put out.
Right, exactly. Samurai Showdown. But it was cool anime stuff, so we
Samurai Showdown was a gem. Still one of my favorite fighting games to this day.
I think I did buy the place. I mean, again, this podcast and working 2 jobs, it's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to play any video games anymore. But I'm still hoarding them, so I probably have Samurai Showdown for the PS5, 4. But
yeah, Samurai Showdown 2, still one of my all-time favorite games.
Yeah. Oh, King of Fighters. Those were King of Fighters for the Dreamcast. I think it was Kings of Fighter 98. And then well, there was that once Capcom decided to fight SNK, it's like, it's like, yeah, that's just it. You're not going to get Mortal Kombat versus Primal Rage anytime soon.
No.
Maybe Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct, just because, Rare I think owns Killer Instinct, but They were both Midway games at one point.
Was Killer Instinct Midway?
Midway handled the arcade release.
Okay.
Yeah, so like,
very cool.
Yeah. Oh God, the wig on Shorty. That's the most unforgivable makeup, and Rogor. Yeah. But no, I think like this kind of movie is basically a bunch of TV actors. It's like, hey, you want to spend a couple weeks in Italy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I was listening to How Did This Get Made? And I can't remember the name of the movie, but it seems really batshit insane. Shoot, no, just go back to. Okay, good. I'm currently listening to the I have not seen the Meg, but I am going to listen to the How Did This Get Made podcast about it. I mean, that was just like, okay, this is just way too stupid. Okay, it's called the movie is called The Visitor.
The Visitor.
Yes, 1979.
Okay.
And they seem to like, this does sound like it's so crazy. It's not this bad, so bad it's good. It's good.
Okay.
But like they were talking about like it's supposed to take place in Atlanta, but they shot it in Italy, and like Lance Henriksen was in it, and it's like basically, oh, they offered me 2 weeks and offered me a chance to go to Italy. Yeah, I'll do it. So, like, I guess we could have used a little more. Again, blood sport element, like, or even with Rocky 3, you get the Clubber Lang montage as Rocky's, beating his can of corns.
Mm-hmm.
Clubber's killing people on the, like, we could have done that for Horn. Like, goes back to Bloodsport with Chung Li, like,
mm-hmm.
Like the first brutal thing is when he goes and gives a guy a compound fracture with a kick.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, really trying to show that he's serial by the end, breaks the guy's neck for the hell of it. Like, we could have used that, because otherwise it's like Horn needed a video game. Like, we were all afraid of Goro going into Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Yeah.
We needed something to. Sloth had more going on for us to like think that was a bigger deal than his main fight.
Yeah.
They had more build up for the first fight than the last fight.
Right. It's like they couldn't really figure out how to pace a actual journey.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's what it is. Which, again, Bloodsport did it in 90 minutes. I don't know. I guess we can forgive you for, it's a science fiction world, and here comes the cable. And I don't get it. Like, you're telling, like, I'm a professional wrestler. I don't need a cable to get military pressed.
I don't know.
I mean, it just shows you somebody is really like, all the suit is muscles and they didn't actually have anybody with any strength underneath it.
Who knows? I mean, like, I think
you don't need that much strength. It's simple. You let somebody you show the guy when you do a military press in professional wrestling, the guy who's being pushed up, you push on their shoulder to make sure they don't lose control.
Yeah.
Like, you took the time to rig that up. like it's just that's the silly stuff. It's like what would Ed Wood or Tommy Wiseau do? No, it's a movie. It needs a special effect.
Oh man.
Have you seen The Room? I guess I should ask.
I've I have seen so many things talking about The
Oh,
Room and clips about it. I've not actually watched it in its entirety yet.
no. Like it's just so when nothing happens, nothing happens. It just drags so long. And the sex scenes are just so, oh God. No, I don't need to see your motion, Tommy. Like
And
I mean,
then the cheap was the cheap
is she
or
chicken?
yeah.
No, that stuff is hilarious. It's like, can we just get to that? Not, but no, it's so convoluted a story that doesn't even really make sense. You really should, like, if you're gonna watch The Room, make sure you're watching it with a commentary by like the Riff Tracks guys.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Birdemic. You can't watch that without
Yeah.
having somebody take the piss out of it at all times. But I don't know what Tommy Wiseau's going to do once Netflix DVD is gone. Because, well, I guess he's the sole distributor of The Room, and he copies The Room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they come with a ad for his an order form for his underwear. Not the underwear he wore, but
Well, right.
yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued to order one now.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it hasn't passed my crossed my mind several times.
If only I wasn't broke.
Yes. Yeah. So did they shave the eyebrows off of Mark Alemo for Rogor? Because they are in the permanent. His eyebrows are permanently like
they're like arced like up angry alien
right
high. I don't know if they're just because I mean just like with drag queens, like they'll glue stick over, like the actual eyebrow and then makeup over. So I don't know if it's actually shaved over or
there is a problem with the makeup effects. Well, not the makeup effects, the suit effects. Because when you pick up Steve, he's they show all his wounds and such, but you're not going to see. But you can't see any actual damage done to Horn. It's just like,
yeah,
or Sloth.
Well, Slothy really didn't do much damage. He like did everything he could just to shove him out.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Like I'm looking at it, it looks like he might have shaved off those eyebrows.
Yeah,
that looks.
Yeah, it's.
They got him zoomed in, and that looks pretty shaved.
Yeah. Yeah, I like they give Jade a moment like I am above you now, Rogor, and it's
you're really not.
Yeah, you like the one thing I would do is not go to the guy I tried to kill.
Like hours ago.
Yeah.
Literal hours.
Like when I reconcile with the best friend who ended up getting me arrested for domestic battery.
Yeah.
We did take a year and a half like before, And you gotta feel bad though. Like, I don't know. Sometimes though, it's like with the actresses situation, it's like they really could have made Quinn look like, it's the 80s. All it takes is Aquanet and foundation. And,
they just tried to make her look as plain and square like as possible.
Why didn't you just give her freaking glasses? It's the 80s. Or if we did that, we'd expect her to be mega hot at some point.
Yeah. Do the classic, like the glasses come off.
Right. So, yeah, now that it's the movie's pulling away and such, and you see the spaceship effects, it's like, hey, that's not really that bad, the animation they did beforehand. I mean, for the credits, the intro and the outro. So let's see. Just looking through the credits, Fish Kid 1, Fish Kid 2. They at least called the guy, that was something at QuadCon in Peoria I almost bought. It was an open toy, but they still had most of the cardboard from the back, and it was a Return of the Jedi action figure. And Robot Chicken did a sketch about it and just basically saying how stupid stuff was. Sloth designed and created by Screaming Mad George and SMG Incorporated. So
okay.
All right. But there was a toy, and it's they did a Robot Chicken sketch on it. And it's like just one of the guys randomly standing in the crowd at the return when they're going over the plan to attack the second Death Star. And like Mon Mothra bumps into him. Oh, excuse me, who are you? I'm Prune Face. When Prune faces around, things are going down. Prune Face. Show a montage. Oh, well, it's great to have you here, Prune Face. No, I'm just here to change to fix your copier. I think it's the toner. And they show that, yeah, the toy was literally just called Prune Face.
Excellent.
But I mean, that is more of a name than Fish Kid 1 and Fish Kid 2. So, but well, Sherry Shattuck did her own numbers though. Living in the Galaxy and I Love the Barbarian. She didn't write them, but she performed them. And yeah. No, this is one of the few movies where she had to keep her titties in.
Well, there was a scene in there where they popped out. It's when she's like, they were tried really hard.
Yeah,
to do it like she faced away from the camera.
Yeah,
but as she's walking away, she pops out on accident. You can see her pop, try to jostle it away.
Right. As they say, this is a one-take movie.
Yeah.
There's no, can we try that again? It's like
as painstakingly as they tried to make it for not being there, and then I mean, it's not super obvious, but as much effort as you put in there, like you couldn't have done like one more take.
Yeah, no, as they say, it's man, we only have so much stuff, man. As they said on The Simpsons, yeah, we can get this. Yeah, you better get this taken care of fast because this place is just gonna be a Starbucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Arena is definitely a fun time. As they say, if you immediately know you can't take, there's nothing to take about this movie seriously. If you can't enjoy it for that right away, smoke a bowl, take an edible. This is gold.
Just enjoy some aliens fighting.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want a treatment of my pro wrestling zombie screenplay, Main Event of the Dead, I just need to get that IMDb page started. Send an email to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. And yes, I will work on the Arena remake right after that. Like, I saw a guy got a wrestling movie done for a B movie done for about 20 grand. And it's like, dang, I only planned like maybe 10 for mine. Like, And that's pushing it. So, this movie, like, it's almost like, let's go to Wikipedia, see what the budget is. And it's like, which, yes, I am going to do. While that was a weird noise I heard on your end. All right. Let's see. Arena 1989. All right. Come on, Wikipedia. No, they do not touch. They do not mention the budget.
I'm really curious about that now.
Yeah.
You said it, I'm like, wonder how much this did cost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sloth had to cost at least $20,1989.
Yeah.
And he was really the only special effect as we read the credits and like, oh, we're going to acknowledge Sloth was better than anything else we put on the screen.
Yeah, like there really wasn't anything else really that they did that was too much, because that opening scene, like that was the most elaborate, like light wise. They had more lights shining, spritzing stuff. Like that was the money shot. Like that was the trailer shot.
Yeah. Like, oh, it is funny that they spell Weasel Weezil. Like,
gotta be sci-fi and cool.
Oh, but we spelled skull Skull. Like, you couldn't have done something for that. Again, it's like Fish Kid 1 and Fish Kid 2. You couldn't have named one of them Flounder, the other one. Or did somebody give him an idea? No, they got that's the name of a guy in Little Mermaid that's coming out in a few months. Don't do it. Like, we couldn't afford to make this movie, let alone like we definitely can't afford to get sued by Disney. So let's see. Reception. Lawrence Cohen of Variety called it an above average fantasy. That's pretty solid. Mike Weldon wrote in the Psychotronic Video Guide to Film, if you like TV shows like Battlestar Galactica, you might make it through this juvenile PG-13 sci-fi science fiction comedy from Charles Band. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a big Battlestar Galactica fan. I mean, 1980s Battlestar, 70s Battlestar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This is up there with V if you really stop and watch the original V. Like, oh gosh. Like, but when I was a 12-year-old kid watching V on WGN late at night, that was pretty solid stuff.
I mean, whatever. I love this movie when I was a kid.
Oh no, that's just it. Like, I don't know. If you love something, like, there's no reason to stop loving something. Like, you knew why you loved it when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like the VHS for this at the video store was was basically, it was a fighting poster. It showed Armstrong and Sloth,
right?
And that was
fight
like
card, yeah,
it was the fight card, yeah. Like that was the front cover, and I remember that. And we're watching it on TV and whatnot, and as soon as a local video store it came up for sale, I was like, I don't know, I think I was 10, and I was like bought it for like $10, and my friends were all yelled at me because I did. I was like, no, this is gold, this is amazing.
Yeah, no, like like you take this is I don't know, something like, I guess the only thing you really say is that you could have used some minorities besides one black trainer.
Fair.
But it was 1989, and it was shot in Italy. Like,
yeah, that's what you said. You looked at it was shot in Italy.
Well, I knew it was shot in Italy just when you look through the credits. Alfonso and
yeah.
Jeez, there's yeah. I don't know. I like to make jokes about shades of vanilla, meaning white slurs. I'm not a. I mean, I have a tattoo on my arm that says "Better Mick than Hick," so I'd rather be Irish than a redneck. So
excellent.
Yeah. So all right. So that was Arena, and yeah, as we say, if you're a kid if you were a kid, I mean, so I would have been 9, 6, 7 when this came out. Probably younger than that.
Yeah. When did this come out again?
89.
89. Okay, yeah. Would have been about 4.
Okay. Well, this is prime HBO stuff.
Yeah.
This is
that was where I saw it was on HBO.
Yeah, this is what you're going to be watching. Like, my parents are a little too conservative. We're just saying something since Mormon?
Yeah.
So,
oh no. See, but my parents loved watching movies though.
Oh, okay. Then you really need to get around to watching finding a way to see the Book of Mormon. Because that is essentially the how our hero saves the day, is his pop culture obsessions.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, all right. So, is anything going to be going on soon with Evil Penguin Games?
Not currently. So just jumping on here, talking about sci-fi movies with you.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much. I mean, I do the podcast basically to keep myself disciplined. Essentially, like, yeah, I know I could be in the dumps in my life, but scores, well, maybe a score of people look forward to this, and you don't want to disappoint. So if you want to be a guest on the podcast like Tim was, you can follow me on Twitter. The username there is @CatBusRuss. That's @CatBusRuss. I'm getting a lot of hits now since the Twitter migration is happening. And not a lot of people want to go to Threads, which is basically Facebook's version of Twitter. You can find me on Mastodon. And then, of course, they got to get through this tricky stuff. My username there is @RussStevens @mastodon.social. Or you can just send an email to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. Just offer me a movie, a director, an actor, a theme. Try to focus on sub 100-minute material, but I can make anything work. At QuadCon, this I think it was I bought some Tombstone themed art from Matthew Atchley, a actor and artist, and I told him right up, like, yeah, Tombstone is 30 minutes too long for this podcast, but I did figure a way to do an episode about it. So just means you have to do a lot of homework. Like, because, all right, we'll do a movie marathon. You can, so that's how we did Tombstone. It's basically, my guest wanted to do it. So it's like, okay, so we're going to create 2 little movie theaters. We each get one amenity. I had a popcorn. There's obviously going to be plumbing. So there are bathrooms. Not guaranteeing you seats at our theater. And then it was like, oh, you got I got a popcorn machine. He got a grill. And then, we'll go from there. And basically it was like, okay, I came up with a marathon to get the Sam Elliott with 3 90-minute movies and then Tombstone, and he did a couple 2-hour movies and Tombstone. So that's how we can make anything work. So I don't know, do you have any like 3-hour bangers that come to mind?
Man, off the top of my head, Not right now. I mean,
we haven't gotten to the Snyder Cut yet.
oh God, I watched Snyder Cut.
Oh,
I did. That was a good one, but
that
was long.
Yeah, damn near 5 hours.
Yeah, that was a. Whew.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's all else I have to do is obviously say rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. Give me those 5-star reviews. Be as honest as you want in the text. I don't think the algorithm picks that up. So,
love it, hate it, just do something.
Yes. So otherwise, thank you to Stacia Hardin for keeping an eye on my ass the last 19 years, and I hope you're doing the same for everybody else you touched in your life, and I hope you're smothering the ever-loving hell out of, or I should say ever undead hell out of Skimble Shanks the one-eared angel. So all right, so I guess I will see you tomorrow, probably.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Otherwise, we'll be back next week talking about C2E2, I believe. No, sorry, Fan Expo. I don't know. Too many cons.
Yeah. I'll be at the con this weekend. So.
You're going to Fan Expo?
No, I'm going to Gen Con.
Gen Con. That's this weekend.
This weekend is Gen Con.
That's Indy or?
Indy, yep.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I gotta. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for escorting the poetic critic, it'd be a lot more expensive than a fair. So, all right. Thank you very much, Tim. And thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the 90 for Chill podcast with CatBusRuss.
Can I hear a wahoo?